You're listening to the In the Mix podcast with Marvin Joles. Here's your host.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode, and we're glad to have you in the mix with us. This is a repeat guest if we're going to try to bring over from Blacktop Banner. And I'm going to be honest with you, like at one point I was done with podcasting. I was like, hey, this isn't going to happen. I'm not doing social media stuff, doing whatever. And we've talked about this before, but Marco at All Out and Kevin were just like, I can't remember where we were, Marco. I think we were at Pavex maybe, or National Pavement Expo. In Charlotte. Yeah. And I had kind of stopped for like 6 months, maybe 4 or 5 months. And you two came up and you're like, no way, like you can't stop. Like you can't do that. We need this. The industry needs this. We need to do this. I think I realized like how, looking back now, I know why I took a break, because it was a lot. Right. And then I knew the potential of what it could grow into was a lot. And it grew into a lot. Right. And of course, that came to fruition of me being like, yeah, this is bigger than I wanted it to be. I don't want to have to deal with it. I don't want to have to handle it. And I've talked about that quite a bit, especially on the last episodes of Blacktop Banner as we started to wind down and whatnot. But now that we've kind of been able to regroup and I have some great support, there's a great vision for what we're doing. There's a purpose for these podcasts and what we're doing. And they're not all about what we're going to talk about today, but they have been a group of these podcasts have been about these same questions that we're asking contractors across the country. And I appreciate you joining me today, man, and being able to share with me.
Always great to jump on with you. You're one of the greatest people I've met in the industry. Honestly, it's a really tight-knit family out there.
Yep.
And you're a big influencer in that, virtually and in person too. So, and just always putting the vibes out. You're trying to help and trying to get people to level up and trying to be, you got that vibe where it's just like, you're just so happy to be a part of trying to encourage people to push forward and improve. So always had that, and from day one. And even first time I remember seeing you was seeing your YouTube videos, and you just putting yourself out there. Like, look at this guy; he's just putting himself out there. He's just throwing it all out there. Yeah. It's awesome.
I still have no clue what I'm doing, dude.
you're getting better, man. You're getting better. You're coming a long way, dude.
Yeah, so, I'll get the hang of it someday soon. I hope.
You've got a few sponsorships along the way, so that's cool.
Yeah, we got some views. We got some sponsorships. We got some cool opportunities. We found ourselves in some really cool situations sometimes where I was just looking back, dude. World of Asphalt came up. And you know how like Facebook will do like memories and stuff, and they're like bring up old stuff. I have a picture of you and I on top of the Paris Tower in Vegas at Con Expo, right? And we were just looking over the Bellagio, and we got a selfie up there. And I'm like, at that moment, I was thinking, just before I clicked that picture, like, dude, I'm about to go to St. Louis for World of Asphalt. I've lived a pretty cool life. Open that up, boom. There's our memory of us up there. And I was like, well, St. Louis ain't about to be as cool as that. But
we were meeting with some bigwigs for you on, for some really important, just like next steps in life and professional stuff going on at that show.
Yeah.
So I was happy to tag along, and it was great to see it all.
Crazy. Yeah, thanks to AEM, man. They've since then they've always been supportive. Since the, I think World of Asphalt pre-Con Expo, AEM's been like, hey, how can we get you here? How can we help you? How can we support you? And Con Expo was a huge one. Then they're like, hey, come out. We're building a whole podcast studio. We're doing all this stuff. You can do all you want to do right here. This is your playground here in Vegas. And yeah, we had some big meetings out there with some really cool stuff, dude. We did the Yokohama deal with Blacktop Banner out there, Yokohama Tire. And I was just like, I remember walking away being like, whose life am I living right now? Because we literally just get on here and we talk about shit we do every day, the good stuff and the bad stuff. And we tell stories about how we got here, which to us are just fucking tragedies sometimes, and just like outworking our ignorance. But people resonate with that. And we've found ourselves, you and I, we've found ourselves in Cleveland in some snowstorms, and we found ourselves in the top of Paris Tower in Vegas watching the Bellagio fountain show. So to say that we went from the bottom to the top and now somewhere in between is a little bit of an understatement, probably. So give everybody a little bit of background. Last time you were on, you and Kev were on, I think, on BB. But give us a little bit of background real quick, just kind of where y'all located, what service area you cover, and what y'all do.
Right behind me, this is one of our favorite jobs right here. This is one of our favorite accounts. It's down at South Philly. That's the Lincoln Financial Field to the left, my left, and then Wells Fargo Center, Citizens Bank Park. So where the Phillies, Flyers, and Sixers play. So
Couple good teams down there.
What's that?
There's a couple good teams down there.
Yeah, not bad. Super Bowl champ. So yeah, we've been servicing them since 2017. One of our clients, I'm the co-owner, co-founder of All Out Parking Lots. Started it with grade school best friend Kevin McGarvey. We were buddies throughout high school. Always like kind of enjoyed hustling, landscaping, shoveling snow, selling T-shirts. Stayed in contact while we were in college. While I went to Temple University in Philly. Kevin went to Westchester in the suburbs, and kind of just stayed in touch. And I was doing internships at the time, and kind of realizing, hey, this corporate thing wasn't really something I was interested in getting in. And Kev he did College Works Painting, which was a program where they helped college kids kind of run their own painting business in the summers. So I actually helped him out with some door-to-door marketing. I would go door-to-door and trying to like knock up, get him painting jobs. And then we kind of just like realized, hey, let's turn this into like the asphalt side of things. And we knew people that were doing seal coating in the industry. So we were like, let's do seal coating. So we did it our junior summers. We just went around and seal coated some driveways in Delaware County and Chester County with an E250 van, some buckets. Started with our family driveways, and then started doing a little bit more. We realized, hey, when we both graduate and get our diplomas, let's do this for real. Let's like actually establish an LLC, and let's take out loans to get a nice big box truck. And people thought we were crazy, out of our minds, doing what we were doing. It's just seal coaters. I mean, I did have support from family and his family, but looking back, it was definitely not a path that most college graduates take. You're not really, me and Kevin getting sprayed with sealer, trying to figure out.
You ain't going to Temple, dude, to seal coat driveways. Like that's not the path. Like, I graduated, now I can seal coat.
Yeah, man. I mean, we started from the bottom, literally just buckets and just sealing driveways, and then had a vision to just grow. And with hard work, dedication, a ton of sacrifice, support from family and friends, started to really build something special. And I got a couple big breaks along the way. Started getting into a little bit of commercial work, and started making our shift from residential to commercial about 3 or 4 years in. And then just off a cold call, we had a vision board. We wanted to get in with the Phillies, Flyers, and Sixers and the Eagles. We were trying to call the stadiums, trying to call on, just making calls. And Kev got lucky, got a hold of somebody. So happened to be a Temple graduate that was in the program I was in. So that was kind of a cool little connection.
There we go.
And then they just had a bad experience with who they worked with. So they were interested in trying out new vendors, and they gave us an opportunity to seal coat the Flyers skate zone in Voorhees, New Jersey. It was like a 50,000 square foot seal coat job. And at the time, that was the biggest job
you'd ever done.
We were ever taking on.
Yeah.
So you have a company called All Out. So we went all out to try and get the job. So we made videos, like we're out there, hey, we're going to do this. We're going to prep the lot. We put together like a 3-minute like promo video for them.
Yeah.
We're really aggressive with our pricing, just like almost like doing it for as low as possible just to get the job.
Get it.
We got the job. It was Easter weekend back in 2017, and knocked the job out of the park. And right when we were done, they were like, you guys did great. Would you like to participate in a 500,000 square foot project? So 10X what we just did.
Baby.
We were like, yeah,
of course.
Yeah, we can figure it out.
When you're going to get us off this small stuff.
And, it's like we went through the bidding process. We were able to win the job. And I remember like that feeling of you're so excited to win a project of that size, but you're also terrified.
Scary you to death.
Really,
yes.
It's a really interesting dynamic that business owners.
That's an emotional. I tell people it's like being happy and sad at the same time.
Yeah.
Like I don't think humans are supposed to go through that, but you do when you win something that big. Like when you win your first 6-figure or whatever, and you're just like, yes, and then you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. If you're a subcontractor in the asphalt industry, you already know the deal. Slow pay, no communication, scopes that change, and getting squeezed on price after the job's done. Pavco National is different because they didn't start as a national company. They used to self-perform. They've been in the field. They've run crews. They dealt with the exact frustrations you deal with when working for other nationals. They built Pavco to be the company they wish they could have worked with. That means clear communication, fair contracts, and no games. They don't treat subs like placeholders. They treat them like partners because they've been on your side of the contract before. If you're ready to work with a national contractor that actually understands and respects your business, reach out to Pavco National. Email them at partners@pavco.com or call 866-PAVEMENT. Pavco National, making your life smoother.
You want to talk about pressure and just intensity, and this is pre-COVID time, right? So the job market and the people that were available to kind of help us, you're not getting first, second round draft picks to help
for
you
sure.
out there. You're getting free agents that are either fresh out of jail or
on their way.
Or on the way. You got people that are just don't really have a lot of direction. And, it's a second chance industry, the asphalt concrete world. So you're taking a lot of chances on people, and you're working with, it's tough to kind of round up crews when you can't offer the benefits and you can't offer top pay. And there's only so much. And, I was out there, I'm working every day with the crews.
For sure.
So I'm leading by example. And it was a very difficult test in life to get through those stages up to, when we were just mainly focused on doing maintenance. But got through it.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's a game changer.
Yep.
You guys did really good. We've talked about marketing that job before when you've been on previously, and just how you guys used that as a marquee job in order to open up yourselves to a different type of clientele. That's, a lot of people say, well, residential or commercial. There's a clientele level in commercial that's above when you say commercial. I think that job was a really marquee one that started to send you guys there. That was, we talked about that job, 2018 Cleveland NPE. Like that's, a lot of people look at that one, they're like, oh, it's the worst one. I was talking with our buddy Dustin Natinka over at Michigan Marking, and he was telling me how that Cleveland show, us being at that Irish pub there every night, changed his life. Right. I think there's a few of us at that table that was sitting there. Landon Escobar, I think his life changed after that. And if I would have listened to him about Bitcoin, my life probably would have changed a little more drastically, a little sooner. Right. But I think you guys did a really good job. And that's when the story that everybody knows about you and I, of you saying, hey, man, you could do a lot better with your videos doing this or that. I think the reason why, that sticks out so much is because you guys use that to make great videos that propelled you into a category that few people strive to go there because they know how big the lift is. In their mind, they think, yeah, I'd love to be that big or do those types of jobs or spread that wide, but they don't really know what they're saying when they say that. And then there are people who dive into that realm and go into that realm, and they're few and far between. Sometimes, what do you think that was? Did you guys know what you were getting into, or did you just like, yeah, we're just gonna, or you thought you did and then realized?
I got to give a lot of credit to Kevin, my business partner, best friend, about just investing in the education and going to the shows from day one. I mean, just, hey, we're not reinventing the wheel here. There's just, in our area, there's 3 or 4 companies that had very similar starts. So start with seal coating, start on driveways, and then you build up to run the paving division, and then doing concrete, and then you're doing the whole Mid-Atlantic region, and then you're doing national. It's not really.
Y'all are doing it in Hawaii.
Yeah, we're doing projects almost all 50 states, and we've done work in Kauai. Yeah, we actually sent our own crew out there to execute a concrete project.
Steve out there. Steve was out there or something, wasn't he?
Yeah.
That's crazy, bro. It's crazy for me to think about and to see your guys' path. I used to get, I don't know how I would feel. I'm a unique person in our industry. I know that. I know my path is really unique. And there's part of me that's like, I've been an observationist of all of our friends and all their businesses and all this, and been able, good enough for people to bring me along, right? Because of my character and how I am. But there's part of me that's like, dang, I'd love to go there. I'd love to be at that level. And then there's part of me that knows what it takes to get there. And I'm like, dude, I don't want any part of that. Like that is not the realm I want to go in. That's not my path. But the business side of me, I see that. So I know that there are other people who think that they may not check themselves, and it leads to some things, right, later on in life, I think. But the amount that you guys took on, I just can't imagine that. Like I have 4 podcasts a day, plus I got some quotes to get out. I'm at my max. Right. And I think about your guys' projects and how big they are, and having to know who to hire, who to put in place, what type of person you need, what type of character traits they have to have, what type of training they need to have. And then encountering things that are just random stuff. Right. You were telling me about one where there was a lot of culverts or something at some point that turned into a nightmare that you guys had to rethink the whole entire thing and save the project and help the clients out and do all this stuff. And for me, I'm like, dude, just let me get to my one parking lot today and get it striped and done. Like, I'm good. I'm pretty sure I'm good. But that has to come with a certain amount of time, a lot. I know Kev's the bomb. We know that. But you all make a really good dynamic, and we know some business partners throughout the industry and throughout time within our industry and the decades now that we've been in it, which is stupid to say that we've been in it for decades, that have made it work. And you guys seem to make it work. I know that isn't easy, but you guys make it work. But I kind of want to know, like, now that you're to this point, doing work in all those states, doing asphalt and concrete, and you all do some crazy projects. I seen the guys are going to a conference. Is it Connexus? You guys are going to that one?
We
Connexus?
got Connects. We got Hotel Point coming
Yeah.
up
Yeah.
in a row.
So I see the guys there going out, and I'm like, I know Steve. I don't know the other guys. Right. And then I see a group picture, and I'm like, I don't know. I know 4 people in the all out picture, and there's a lot of people in that picture. Right. So I'm like, dude, this thing is getting wild. I know that I don't have the capacity to handle that. But what does your day look like, Marco? Like, because our days look very different, but like from get up to go to bed on an average day, maybe not the weekends if you're going to take those off and spend some time with the fam and whatnot. But like, what does your average day look like? Are you all the time behind a computer? Do you get time to go to the gym? Are you on the phone? Are you doing site visits? Like, what's your average day look like, family and business?
Yeah, it's changed dramatically through the years. Obviously, I was in the field doing projects, doing the work myself, then leading crews. And then COVID kind of changed a lot. We went through a big paradigm shift, and everybody did, right? But we and myself, Kevin, we were living, and at the time I was living in Philadelphia. In basically, it was a city that was taking it very serious. COVID was there was
They weren't joking.
shutdowns, and the political landscape was very aggressive to be.
That's an understatement. Yeah.
Very aggressive. So, and at the time, my wife was a nurse at the University of Pennsylvania Hospital, and having to go into that dynamic and be in that environment, and then being told things coming down from the top doctors in the world. She was basically like, hey, you have to make a shift, because either you move out and we kind of just like, you do your thing, and you don't care about exposing yourself. You don't care about getting COVID, and you just want to go and do your business.
Yeah.
Or we have to just wait this out, and you have to figure out virtual. And at the time, her company and put them virtual.
Yeah, of course.
So they were virtual. So I had this decision to make. I had to like, hey, do I stay in my marriage and figure this out, and or do I, still try and be married but like be separated?
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So through a lot of prayer, thought, and just ideas, my brain's always wired to think of how can I make things work, even if it's really hard. Just how can I make things work? So what I ended up finding out was,
it's a good fit for the asphalt industry.
Yeah. Virtually, how can I do what I'm doing?
Yeah.
How can I lead an organization virtually? And what I found was that I was able to get way more done sitting behind my laptop, being at 6 places at once. It was wild. It was a wild realization. Now I had to build a virtual workforce. I had to hire team members that were willing to work virtually.
Yeah.
I had to lead in a way and do sales in a way that was virtually.
You had a big shift.
Yeah.
From your mindset.
yeah, we had to do, all our meetings that we used to do in person. We did them,
Yeah.
now we're doing them on Zoom. We're doing them on GoTo. We're doing them on Teams.
Yep.
And I was also very fortunate because Kev, business partner, he was still going into the office. So he was like, dude, I'm doing my thing. I'm like, God bless you, bro. Like, do your thing. So like he was still able to like handle the office and do a lot of things that I had to do in person. But I went like completely virtual.
Yeah.
And that's when the national stuff started taking off. So how do you handle that, right?
When you're investing in asphalt equipment, trust matters. KM International designs and builds seal coat units, infrared heaters, asphalt hot boxes, and other asphalt maintenance equipment for contractors, municipalities, and professionals across the industry. We run KM seal coat units because they're built tough, they perform in the field, and we trust the people behind the brand. Another big reason we stand behind KM, their equipment is made right here in the USA. Their mission says it best: innovative asphalt maintenance solutions. To learn more, visit kminternational.com, call 810-688-1234, or email sales@kminternational.com.
I don't want to give away all my secrets on this podcast, but what if you have all that experience a decade in, and then you're able to kind of just formulate a way of like, how can I?
You had a system and process that you developed because of COVID. You developed a system and process that you were able to kind of parlay over into national work.
Yeah. And then in the meantime, my wife's working at one of the largest employers in the United States in Philly area, UPenn. So they've forced everyone to go virtual.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like shadowing and learning how they were handling it, this multi-billion-dollar corporation hospital,
Yeah.
And then I'm putting that towards our cute little asphalt business.
Yeah.
It has at that time, like 15 employees or whatever. And able to figure it out, man. I mean, through a lot of hard work, dedication, sacrifice. I mean, anything is possible, right? If you really put the energy in there, and you put the good vibes out, and you really align yourself with the right people around you, you end up figuring out a lot of things. And we were able to figure that out. And next thing you know, we're getting opportunities all over the country because of how fast we were able to like respond and have these meetings. And then a lot of these other clients, they were ecstatic to do these virtual meetings because now they don't have to, everyone's had all these I mean, it feels like COVID was forever ago, but man, when we were in the thick of it, man, like
it was
people that, people didn't want to, no one wanted to really meet inside. Yeah, that were masked, the whole thing. So when you're like being one of the first companies to offer those virtual experiences and those virtual meetings and be very professional about it and still execute, like that was a huge differentiator. So
yeah, it separated you from everybody else.
Yeah, so that was one of the biggest decisions I had to make in my life, professionally and personally.
So how did that change your day to day, though? Like what does your average look like now?
Right now, I mean, I have everything.
You get up.
First thing I'm looking at is my updates on Basecamp.
Okay, so
I got my
whole team. What do you get up right away and do? Like, what's your morning routine look like, Marcos?
First thing I'm doing, and I'm waking up, I'm looking at the updates for Basecamp.
Okay, you grab your phone right away and check that out and see what's up.
Check out my phone, go on Basecamp, look at my email.
Yeah.
First and foremost, make sure there's no fires that I need to put out.
Yeah. Welcome to the asphalt world.
Yeah. And then
you get coffee then or what?
Yeah, I'll go downstairs. I usually make a nice omelet for me and my wife, and she's we have a 1-year-old, a little over a year now, and we kind of start our day like that. And then I usually start my meetings around 9 a.m. virtually, and they go anywhere between 9 to typically 5. And those are meetings that are check-ins with our project managers, check-ins with our sales team. We have client check-ins on those. We do workshops as well, where we have everybody logging in, and we're doing, today we're going to cover Asphalt 101. So the whole team's on the same page with Asphalt. Oh, really? Yep. Cool. We're doing team building as well on those meetings. And then, I mean, there's projects. I mean, we did 1,500 projects last year as a company. So
that's wild.
There's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of things that we have to work together through. And I oversee a majority of it on the national side. So I'm probably looking at 1,200, 1,300 projects
a year,
like just from my kind of like
Yeah.
top view down.
Top down view. Yeah. So then
So
when you're done at 5, then what do you do? Like, what does Marco do then?
I've,
Do
yeah,
you actually ever check out?
I'll be, it's hard to check out, but
Yeah.
I'll get to the gym. I'll get to the gym. I'm lucky
Good for
enough to be
you.
able to go and get to the gym. I try and get
Do
there.
that on the way home?
I don't really leave the house, and then I'll
Okay.
go to the gym. That'll be like I need to get out of the house. I'll go hit the gym for an hour and a half or so, and then come back, make dinner, and then do the dad thing, and then once they go to bed, I have a sauna. Put a sauna in
I know
the house.
you took a call from me one time in the sauna. I was working.
Yeah, I got. Hey man, it was Amazon has everything. There's these like saunas, infrared saunas you can order that are like less than $2K, and then you can, my dad and I put it together, no bolts, nothing. It's been great. What a great investment.
They got one at the gym there, and my place is outside Nashville now, between Wisconsin and here, or Wisconsin there, and they got one at the gym. It's a sauna, and at first I was kind of hesitant because it's like in the area where like you're working out, like you just gotta like get in there. But then once I was in there, it was so effing hot in there that I didn't care what was going on outside. I just was like, "Whoo!" And it's got Bluetooth speaker in there too, so like you can take a call if you want to or do whatever in there. But I enjoy it.
Yeah, so I mean that's we have our son is not the best sleeper. It's kind of a wild card at night, man. What's going on? Sometimes you get a window that's a little longer than others.
Sometimes you don't. Yeah. I know how that is. I went through it twice. Liz slept so good that I thought it'd be a great idea to have another one right away. Bro, that was the dumbest thing I did, bro. I was like a zombie. Like it was awful because Eli would not sleep. Even now he sleeps a shit ton. You gotta kick him. He's making up for lost time, I think.
But no, my wife's a rock star with me and the mom, and she took that role 110%. So super blessed to have that dynamic here.
Yeah, that's really good. What's been so if we think back, right? We think back farther most of the time when you and I talk, but in the past year or so, what's been the biggest challenge that you've had that Marco's had? And it can be work or it could not be work, but what's been the biggest challenge? I know Christian's coming up on a year here, right?
Yeah. We so my wife was working virtual and I was working basically virtual. We were living in Florida last year in April.
You said come on down. I was like, dude, I'm waiting.
We moved. And the years before that, we were kind of like traveling. We were able to do like kind of take road trips. I mean, we didn't have a kid, right? And we both had virtual.
Yeah, Brick came to the show sometimes.
Yeah.
We all get to hang out.
Yeah. So, we were just, there was one 3 years ago. We lived in every corner of Florida in the winter. We stayed a month in the Panhandle. We stayed like 3 weeks in basically like the Naples area. We did a whole week in Key West, and then we stayed in Fort Lauderdale for a month.
That's what I remember. Fort Lauderdale. Yeah.
So we did that, and we were both had our laptops set up, and we were working remote, and it was
what a life. You guys should have had a kid that way.
Well, so you do all that, and some things are out of your hands. It's God's plan, right? So I'm happy that
it was a cool experience you guys got to have, man. Not a lot of people get to experience that in their life. So now you're experiencing something for real. You got to sleep.
Yeah. So I mean, biggest challenge like has been that transition, because we found out that it's important to be close to family and support and that. So we thought, we had to kind of learn that. But, again, we're new parents going through it. So we were able to find a really nice place here in the suburbs of Philadelphia, Conshohocken. And moved up here and went from living in a condo living, and then we got like an acre to deal with at a nice house. All the fun
on and stuff, shit like that.
All the fun to deal with living in a house. So
that was the biggest challenge then, was making the change, going back to moving back, and
personally, and then obviously when things were going on through COVID, man, and then just
but in the past year, it's been that change. I think that's pretty common. Like a lot of people, they'll go through that. Something will come up, and then they got to go back. Like I'm in the midst.
I'm happy it happened at this stage, though, and it wasn't Because if it was back when I was, 60,
Grinding.
70, sometimes 80 hours of manual labor a week,
Tough, dude. And that's pretty common. Like, that's pretty common. I think it's important, like, to say that, like, timing is everything. Like, we all know how, listen, dude, we all know how babies get made.
For the rock, sand, and gravel producers listening, efficiency isn't just about your loaders and your crushers. It's about your data. Bulk Source is the modern operating system that connects the pit to the pavement. Stop running your business on spreadsheets and paper tickets. Bulk Source is an all-in-one cloud platform that handles everything: order management, dispatch, scale ticketing, and invoicing. Give your customers what they actually want: a customer portal where they can view tickets, track orders, and grab invoices in real time, eliminating the game of phone tag. Unlike clunky legacy systems, Bulk Source is cloud native and mobile friendly. It works on any device, iPad, phone, or desktop, and integrates seamlessly with accounting tools like QuickBooks and NetSuite. Streamline your operation, speed up cash flow, and ditch the chaos. Visit bulksource.com to book a demo today.
It's important to take the precautions for your life. Please, Elizabeth and Elijah, I hope you're listening. It's important to take the precautions in your life and make sure that timing is right for what you want to do when you do it, in order to hopefully get into the life you want to live. And you're in good. I think the best part of it, like, the timing was good. You guys were really successful, as far as figuring out how to make this thing work. And it's been really neat to see you guys have been able to overcome that too by being around family too. That helps out a lot. Yeah. So what about, and I know you reiterated to this already and you kind of covered it during your intro and whatnot, but I'm going to guess anyway, but what's the single hardest thing you've ever went through? And if it has to be something business and something personal, that's fine. If it's just something personal and you want to share that, that's great. If it's more business side and you want to do that, I know the dynamic about that question is that most of us, there's a really thin line between our business life and our personal life. Like, they bleed over so much, and we embody our businesses so much that usually that's the same thing. But if you could think back, what would be the hardest thing that you've ever went through in general as Marco?
One of the lowest points I can think of that comes off the top of my head is, during that year in COVID, we didn't really have a lot of work. Everybody was going through this shift. So we try to always avoid going through general contractors and not being in the prime position. But at that time, we had crews and we had to figure out basically what to do, right?
Yeah.
Huge pressure, because at that point, we're about 10 years in, you have 30 employees.
Yep.
What do you do when you don't have work lined up? That is a pressure I don't wish upon anybody when you have people depending and families. And so we opened ourselves up to be able to work through a general contractor at an Amazon facility that was being constructed. And it was a bollard project, like 300 bollards to
there's
install.
a lot. I was going to say, there's a lot at those facilities.
And we did bollards, but never at the scale of mass scale like that, trying to get 300 done. We went about it wrong. And the superintendent on the job was a real prick about it. And we were
installation, the way you went.
Yeah, we installed them a little off center, a little bit. We're talking like inches off center. And this guy, you got to rip him out. You got to redo him. You got to rip them out. You got to redo them. We're putting in these bollards full depth, and we're, sitting there all this hard work. And
how deep were you when you had to?
They were 7-foot bollards, so 3 and 4
No, I mean,
out.
like how many have you had done before you had to pull?
Wrong, probably. This is going back, but I think it was like 50 or so we did wrong.
Oh, God bless.
And then we had, basically like rent the biggest excavator we could possibly get to bang them out. And now you're just all this hard work, you're just banging out and then redoing it.
God.
And it was such a test of just just trying to, but things pass. Yeah. COVID passed. We got through it. That was really difficult, man. And I wouldn't be where I'm at professionally and personally without my wife and business partner. Yeah, it's just this is what it is. I'm not gonna, you got to surround yourself with people that are going to support you and keep you even when you're super down. And
well, that's the next question though. Is like, what has life taught you? And is that Is that really what life taught you? Is the people you
I mean, hey, my path to success and happiness is going to be different for like it's different.
yeah.
Not everybody can.
Yeah, but you and I talk about that a lot, right?
I'm the vice president of All Out. I'm one of the co-owners, co-founders, but Kev's got a little bit higher stake in it, and he's got final say, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
It's pretty close.
Yeah, put it on him.
But
For me, I was like, I put it on Kev.
can you be number two in a business? Do you have that type of personality to be that invested and then no, you don't have final say? That's not for everybody. For me, I had that trust. I still have that trust with Kev. And then in a marriage too, man. Living in a marriage.
Yeah, we know who's got the final say.
So I'm number two in both.
Yeah, like Emmett Smith, number 22.
So
yeah, I think you know what that is though. That's being humble. That's learning to be humble. That's also an ego thing, right? Where you got to ego kill a little bit. And I just think we're surrounded, Marco, in a society, especially on social media, where like everybody's supposed to be number one. Everybody thinks that they have to be number one. They have to be the best. Like they have to be it. And I don't know, man. When I look at the world champion Philadelphia Eagles, it looks like there's a lot of number twos and a lot of guys that are playing their role, and all of a sudden they're the best, right? And it's like you have to let that kill a little bit and understand that without the offensive line, the quarterback's getting hurt. Like I think that those are my favorite. I think that's why you and I get along so good. People who realize that and embody that are my favorite kind of people because they're the funnest to be around. There's not a, hey, it's this way or no way. They understand that there's many ways to skin a cat. The biggest thing is that we get the cat skinned. And then we can just go into another one. And to know that you all have been able to do that and work that dynamic out, I think is a really big attribution of your success because you all do national work. I know national companies besides yours, of course, and I know that there are partnerships within that dynamic. And I also know that there's yin and yang, right? And there's people who have the final say, but I don't know that they necessarily ever need to use it because they learn to work together so well like you and Kev have.
It's worked. We have a lot of success in where we've gotten to. And, it's not easy. But whenever I do speak to small business owners or people that want to start a business, I let them know. I say, I don't know how the people that have done it by themselves can do it. Like a guy like you, to not have that business partner, to not have that person who you can divide and conquer. Yeah. That is the ultimate, like you're a wizard.
You just keep it small enough you can fit it in your pocket is all you do.
Yeah.
Don't try to get a backpack, you just keep it small enough you fit it in your pocket. Yeah. There are, we know guys, we've shared stories about guys who've built big ones. Dude, they're not, I would venture to say that most of the guys that I talk to that build some big stuff in our industry solo are a lot less happier than I am. And there's been times when I've been pretty not happy, but everybody tends to let me in, thank God. And I've learned a lot from it. And a lot of those guys will tell you flat out, like for a lot of years, it was not good. And I'm like, dude, I'm smart enough and zen enough. Everybody knows that about me. I'm kind of monk sage kind of leaning. I know that tomorrow's not promised. I know that a year from now could be all over with. So I'm trying to like make sure that I enjoy my time here right now. And unfortunately in business, I feel like when you take time to do that, it slows down your business growth, possibly for the most part. So you kind of got to be humble about that too and realize that you're taking time away from building this up. But I feel like if I would have built something really big, I probably would have looked back with regret and been like, yeah, I didn't take the time to do what I really wanted to do. And I didn't really enjoy all those years. I think that's different with me than it is with some other people. And sometimes when you have a business partnership like you guys have, you're able to take some of that weight and divide and conquer, spend some time, with your family and do those types of things. I think it's just important. Like you were saying earlier, like our personal path is literally our personal path. It literally is about what your capacity is, what you like, what you don't like, how you're trying to build your business for, and what your goals are in life, right? Like my goal, and Nikki knows this, is to have a cabin up in the woods somewhere where you can't even see it from the road, and just leave it alone at the end. Like, dude, let me just chill. I want to read some. I want to read some books. I want to read some Thoreau. Put my fireplace on. Maybe go down, catch a trout out of the creek. Come back up and cook it. Go to bed. Wake up. Read some more Thoreau. That's what I want to do. Most people in our industry are like, hey, I want the big truck, the Denali. Give me a big bedroom, 3 levels. I want to be able to ride my horses out my pasture, whatever the heck it is. We put my boat, get on my boat and go out in the lake, whatever it is. And unfortunately, I think that we're lucky, me and you and everybody else in our industry, because the asphalt industry, pavement industry allows people, if they understand it correctly, to create whatever lifestyle they want to create for themselves. If you know what you're doing within this industry, you can do that. But to lean into what you're talking about what life's taught you, I don't think any of that comes to fruition if you don't have really good people in your corner, your wife, your partner, your friends, all that stuff.
One of the biggest challenges in concrete work is control. Control over quality, control over timing, and control over cost. Cementech designs and delivers volumetric concrete mixers that are some of the most accurate and technologically advanced in the industry. Their equipment gives contractors real control over schedule, budget, and concrete quality, allowing crews to mix exactly what they need when they need it, without the waste and limitations of traditional barrel mixers. I've been in the same industry circles as Cementech for years, and I've interviewed contractors who run their equipment every day. It works, it delivers. If you want to learn more or to find a dealer near you, head to cementtech.com.
In this industry too, like you go to Paybacks and you talk to guys that have been in the industry 10, 15, 20 years. There's millionaires everywhere. There's blue collar millionaires walking around. There's Rolexes all over the place. And like, you would never think,
Listen, man, you would never think that, bro.
Loaded, man.
Like, there's times where, okay, I want to make sure I put this right. We go to some of these conferences, right? And I'll have conversations with guys who have 3 locations. They got 50 guys working for them. They're working in 3 different states. They're balls to the wall all the time. All this overhead, all this stuff, and they're like, "Yeah, man, I'm bringing home X amount each year," and I'm tucked away here in the corner, right? And I'm like, that's pretty close to what I bring in. Like, I think I'm just gonna sit still. Like, I think I'm gonna chill a little bit, right? But then you'll go have another conversation with somebody who's even bigger, and maybe they're making less than that guy. Maybe they're making more than that guy. It's all about the systems and operations of what they do and what they learn. I think that's why you and I talking about going to these conferences and talking to people that have walked all the different paths is super important, because it allows you to see there's not just one set way to do this. There's a lot of different ways to do this depending on what you want for your life. And sometimes one little minor adjustment can make it. Like, it'll make your business, make your life, do whatever you need to do. After years of, like I did, like a decade before I came to NPE 2017, I pounded my head for a decade, not knowing that I need a system and processes that other people can step into so that I can delegate some work, right? And free up my life and allow us to scale a little bit. Yeah, dude, you wouldn't know it. You go to the shows, you wouldn't know it. But that's what the asphalt industry does.
It's a recession-resistant industry. It's a service industry that's going to be relevant. People need to get the work done, and less of the generations that are younger are doing the work. If you get into it and you learn it and you know how to execute it and you work hard, this is the best country in the world for that.
Yeah,
You're going to be successful if you do it. If you just execute the fundamentals. So anybody who's out there is thinking about doing it, know that there's no shortcuts. And that, like you're saying, you got to be humble. You got to really put in the time to learn. You got to have these conversations with people that have done it with you before, than you. You're not reinventing the wheel, man. We're big believers at All Out in coaches. So we have 5 coaches on payroll right now for us. So it's just, coaching is important, and then always trying to learn and level up, and then do right.
We're getting Tesla robots, bro. We're gonna get those Tesla robots. Go out and pave, and seal coat, and crack fill.
That might happen. That could happen.
My brother Jesse just sent me one. He's like, if you can get this thing to loot, you're made, bro. It's 30 grand. He's like, I don't even care what the downtime is. He's like, it'd be worth it. I was like, cool, dude. Yeah, I'd be in. But I want to go back to the family thing a little bit because we share a lot. Before your son was born, you seen me with Eli, and you were just like, man, that's the coolest shit ever. Like Eli's been with us in the asphalt industry for a long time. You all have known him for a long time. He's got a huge family in the asphalt community, asphalt industry. Like anybody at any moment would do anything for him, and I'm grateful for that. But you got a young man now, and your dynamic when you're a father and you're looking at your son changes a little bit. After everything you've learned and all you've experienced in life, if you could teach your guy something, your little man, as he gets older and starts becoming a man, like Eli's 14 now, he's got armpit hair, bro. So I'm having to teach him like the legit stuff now. And he can almost take me at this point because he's built like a brick shit house being a wrestler. So I got to watch myself.
Almost take you.
Almost. I still got the dad strength. He tried me. He tried me not last night, but the night before. And he didn't try me last night because he was eating his kneecap the other night. But if there's something that you could teach your son that you know would stick with him after you're gone, that he would apply to his life, and you know that it would take, what would that be? What would that one thing be, you think?
Curiosity. Be curious in everything that's around. Try to learn. Try to realize and ask and learn as much as possible, and be curious of your day. Be curious of this. That's how my mind works. It doesn't matter if it's someone who's talking about hunting or someone who's talking about computers. It could be, I'm curious to learn. And I think that's opened me up to a lot of different, all kinds of walks of life and people. And then obviously when it gets into like the business side of things, being well-rounded and being able to like genuinely be curious of whoever I'm meeting, that's important. That actually ends up, so for him to not be closed-minded, to be open-minded, be curious.
That's a good one.
So that's what's sticking out.
How'd you learn that?
Just been there, man. I don't know. It's just been there. I just been like that since I was a little kid. I don't care if it's the coolest kid in the school or, someone who's getting picked on. I was just trying to hear about their story and, just kind of like, I always try to be friendly with everybody.
Yeah.
And, learn different backgrounds, different walks of life.
That's where the opportunities are too. That's where the opportunities for success are. I tell that to Eli a lot, right? I was like, you have to talk to people. Like, even if you don't want to and they don't want to, you still should try to talk to people. And if they won't talk to you, talk to somebody else and talk to somebody else. And he's totally wide open. Liz isn't so much, but I say that to him because the best opportunities in my life have come from people that I've developed a relationship with just talking, right? And it's like, we go to these shows and there's so many booths and there's so much new technology and there's so much going on. We're living at like the most technologically advanced time, I think, in the world. We're on the cusp of something really drastically changing humanity. And if you don't talk to somebody and you don't know what's going on, you're going to be on the backside of that. And I don't necessarily know that I want to be on the forefront of it for my success, but I want to be on the forefront of it because it's exciting. Like, I want to be excited about my day to day. And if all I'm doing is grinding for dollars, that doesn't excite me, man. It never really has. But knowing that we're doing something cool, or that we get to hang out with people, or we develop this relationship. Some of my best memories in the last couple of years have been when I've landed sponsorship deals for BB, and they're nothing compared to what we get for asphalt contracts. But I'll jump up off the table and just being like, holy shit, I made something out of nothing. Like, we had a Japanese tire company sponsor the podcast. I'm like, how in the world did this happen from where we are? And none of it would have happened if I wouldn't have been open, put myself out there, like you were talking about, being curious and having these conversations. So what's in the future for Marco Menna? I mean, you're going to be raising a boy. You got a lot in that realm, but what's in the future? Sometimes this industry gives us more than a paycheck. It gives us the chance to give back. Dream On 3 creates custom sports dreams for children living with life-altering medical conditions. Moments that give families hope, joy, and memories that last a lifetime. This isn't about attention or headlines. It's about showing up for kids and families, during some of the hardest moments of their lives. We believe in the mission of Dream on 3, and we're proud to support and help raise awareness for the work they're doing. To learn more, visit dreamon3.org and follow them on Instagram at dream_on_3.
Growing all out, continuing to have that controlled growth. I'm living the dream right now. Like, my role is great. I have an awesome team. We have such a great culture. We have great people that we're working with. We have awesome clients that I've had now years of relationships with. So I really, I'm still learning. I'm still learning a lot, but I really
Always
understand. Yeah, I really understand. Like, I like being able to provide the solutions and getting creative on how to really save people a lot of money.
Yeah.
And just like, that's awesome to be able to like just provide those services and to provide a great service. I'm going to be probably getting more back out. I'm going to a second trade show this year on Sunday, so I'm going down to Hotel Point. So that's going to be an interesting kind of presentation. We're like in like these boardrooms and presenting in front of 20 or so hotel executives.
I'm a long way from steel coat buckets in the van.
Yeah, yeah. But in the same week, we have a whole separate team that's going to be out at doing connects in Denver. So like,
Yeah,
we're doing 2 national trade shows at once. So to be able to grow and
congratulations to you, man.
and do that.
I don't know if I've ever said that to y'all, but I know some people are like, "Oh, if you only knew," but I really am like, congratulations to y'all, because to know you and Kev and just to see y'all, there's a tenacity that's humble and steady about you guys where it's not real loud, but it's enough that it's going to push some stuff over. And I've just been really in awe of that, of y'all over the last year. So, when you say that you're in 2 different places, because we're friends, man, to hear you all say that we're in 2 different places with 2 different teams doing 2 different national shows and that you're happy and you're in a good place makes me feel good. But also, I think shows people in our industry and people that want to be in our industry that is a path that can happen, right? So there's a saying that as one man does, so can another. You to hear you say that is like, okay, Marco did it, I can do it, right? And Eli might not be like me. He might not be, so zen as I am. He might want to take on the world. He might want to walk your path. And I'm fortunate to know people and have conversations and record conversations where if that's what he wants to do, we have a blueprint. He doesn't have to reinvent the wheel either, right? We're pretty fortunate for that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then on the personal side, just looking forward to like being able to talk to my son. That's going to be like right now, we can't really talk. So then like doing the whole like, just being interested in like what he's going to be interested in doing. Like, is he going to like playing sports? Is he going to like playing piano? Is he going to like, that's going to be awesome.
You never know, bro. I had Liz and Eli, and they're completely different. It's preposterous. They both had my same influence. We had the same 2 parents raised them up, and they're completely 2 different people. They're boy and a, which is different, of course, but it's
so that's and then another thing too, going through this whole experience the last year, I really got humbled big time to think that I kind of had a good grasp on a lot of challenges and hard things in life, and then going and seeing everything that mothers go through.
Mm-hmm.
That was just like, whoa. And then looking at other, really like looking at other professionals and other employees and people that I work with that have a lot of kids and have kids, and like being like, okay, this is next level, because it's totally different if you don't have kids. It just is. It's especially, I don't know, I'm seeing it right now. So it was a really humbling experience, and I been learning, still learning.
Yeah. Sometimes you realize the most valuable things you got, you didn't even work for. And it's like, oh, okay. And that just happens. That comes with age. That comes with time. I used to feel bad because I didn't feel that way when people told me that. I'd be like, I have no idea what you mean. And then later on, as you get older, you become a father, right? You realize what it means. And then we were fortunate enough. I was able to go to Guatemala again this last summer, and I took Liz this time, right? So a lot of the stuff that I would come back and tell them, right? I would see like Liz throw a plate of food away and I would have a problem with it. They would be crying over their TV show not being on or whatever. And I'd have a hard time with it because I'd went to Guatemala and seen people with a lot less, doing a lot less and trying to make it with a lot less. But then I was able to take Liz back this time, fortunately, and to see her look at me while we were in some of these villages and seeing what some of these girls that are her age were going through and to hear them say things made me just feel really, really, really good about what I have built at Wiscote. And maybe before that, I didn't feel so good because I was comparing myself to other people in my industry and whatnot. But to know that it provides what we have here and that that's so much more than what a lot of people don't have, or even hard things that they deal with. We have medical care. Something happens to Eli, he's wrestling, he breaks his arm. We're gonna go over here and it's gonna get taken care of. Over there, it was a week. Somebody was waiting in line at a hospital for a week with a broken arm, right? And I'm just like, dude, we have it so good. And I love sharing stories about what you all have done, what we do, what all of our friends do, our industry, because we have it so good in America and in the asphalt industry. And I'm really, really thankful to have friends like you and like Kev. Yeah, it makes the whole world in perspective. So,
and I'll double down that we're lucky to be in 2025, because if we were in 1776 or 1575 or what,
I don't know. We probably would have been like, "Isn't this great? We made it. Like, we got the whole country. We can do whatever we want."
We are super blessed to be in the United States at this stage.
Yeah.
It's just an incredible time to be alive. So
yeah. And we're getting to see some cool stuff, and we got great kids. We got a great family. We got people who love us, so we can't complain very much. We picked the right industry, so that was good. I'm glad y'all ain't painting or mowing lawns or anything like that. I'm glad y'all stuck with the blacktop stuff, so we can hang out and have something to talk to. So if people want to keep up, I think the best spot to keep up with Marco is probably on LinkedIn.
Yeah, LinkedIn. You guys can check us out on LinkedIn. You can hop on our website. I'm always open to
have a combo. You've always been open to a combo.
Yeah, always down for opening combo. We're still learning, man. So always loving to trade best business practices, and
I think we're always going to be learning, bro. I've already chalked it up to that. We're always going to be learning.
Turning 36 here in about a month. So
I was there already.
Still pretty young in the game, man, considering. So
yeah, I was there already. I was dumb at 36. I'm 39 now. I'm not saying you're dumb at 36. I'm just saying I was there and I was dumb. I'm going to look back in 10 years probably, bro, and just be like, dude, I was so stupid at 39, 40. I thought I knew what the hell I was doing. Like, yeah, I was so stupid. And then I tell Eli right now, I'm like, dude, you think you're so smart? He's like, yeah, man. And he's like, yeah, I do. I was like, yeah. That was it, bro. Yeah, so it's so fun to see. We're so blessed, dude, to live these lives where we're able to reflect and go back. We go through hard times and we realize it wasn't that hard, or good things can come out of them. To me, that's the biggest thing. Is I think people think that those hard things that really, really hurt are going to last forever, and they don't. You just keep making positive choices. Talk about it, get it off your chest, get it out from under your skin, develop a game plan, one day at a time. Just like eating an elephant, one bite at a time, a little bit here, a little bit there. Next thing you know, you're doing jobs in Hawaii, or you're speaking at World of Asphalt, or you're winning 5th place at the state wrestling championship, or God only knows what this kid is going to do, But yeah, it's really cool. It's really cool to see you guys' journey. I appreciate you joining us today, man, a lot.
Yeah. Anybody out there who's struggling and trying to, power through, just, know that it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
Things will be all right. And there's people that you can reach out to. There's these resources you can do, and always continue to learn. There's always if there's a will, there's a way. Don't want to get too into religion, but religion plays a key factor too. And just being able to meditate and pray during your tough times, and always trying to do the right thing.
Yeah, man.
It's not rocket science out there.
Just believe. Just believe. Yeah. You can do a lot, dude, if you just believe.
Just keep moving. Keep believing. Yeah.
I've been believing that one of those cars was going to move behind you forever. You've been on that parking lot there in Philly for a long time, really low to the earth there. An Indian style, what do they say? Indian style crisscross applesauce or whatever it is there on the parking lot that y'all did. But
anyone's ever down in South Philly, man, check out our work. We've done, I think, over 5 million square feet of seal coating down there, and hundreds of thousands of square feet of paving and striping, and yeah, it's a great account, and also blessed to have that. Been there quite a while now.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you joining us again today, and as always, man, it's always a pleasure. Good to spend time with you and talk to you.
Sounds good, Marv. Right back at you, man.
Alrighty. So for myself here in the studio in beautiful rural southwest corner of Wisconsin, and for Marco at the As For Now World Championship Philadelphia Eagles parking lot. Thanks for joining us. We'll talk to y'all soon. Peace.